All right, just a preliminary. I was trying to figure out whether I was going to put this at the beginning or the end of my video. Preliminary tutorial on building your memory file system. So you're already out there operating, thinking, accessing your memory banks. What happened at school the other day? Oh yeah, there was a guy, right? So what you're doing is you're going. I mean, in like, that's a horrible head. We'll do this. Right. Ooh. She's skinny. All right. All right. So those of you who are girls can relate to this because this is a girl. Anyway, so like usually it's illustrated like this. What did I have for lunch today? Oh, I had a banana, right? And an apple that still had leaves on it. It looks more like an orange. Classically, red delicious is what people think apples are supposed to look like. Anyway, so I had a banana, I had an apple. Oh yeah. So what's going on there is you are accessing your memory file in your hard drive, so to speak. So all you're doing is adding something else that you're accessing. So you're basically just creating something like anyway, you're creating a thing with your imagination, a memory that you're going to be utilizing. So very much like you're remembering what happened with lunch the other day, banana and apple, you're going to remember or access this folder. Actuality update. Alright, so the Actuality update folder is going to be your new operating system, which you're going to manage your memories and thought catalogs, memories, and also other technologies. This is a new technology with. So you're basically going to go like boot up. It doesn't take any time to boot up. So you go, oh, so the Actuality updater folder, right? Hard drive, right? We can just, it doesn't have to be called Actuality update. You can call it like OS, let's see, or PMM for a perfect memory machine, right? These are like proprietary terms. It's my property. So other people are doing something similar, I'm sure. Actually, no. There aren't any other people out there like me, it seems. Why aren't we getting organized? Why don't we get together? Anyway, so I'm doing a webcomic, and that'll bring us all together. Yay. Anyway, so like, just call it what, like, let's say it's like, we'll just say memory file. We'll say files, right? Memory files, right? So you're accessing your memory files, and you're really, but with what? With your new operating system, or with your perfect memory machine. With Greg's, we'll call it Greg's perfect memory machine, right? So Greg's perfect memory machine allows you to arrange your memories in a very physical file folder manner, but like I don't have the time to add, like, the effects, but like, you can imagine that, like, I'm using physical folders, but then I'm virtualizing those folders, compressing them, and then making them into a little icon here, right? So you can punch this up and it goes bang, and then you have everything very much like a computer system. Anyway, so I didn't quite cover the initial creation of the perfect memory machine, which is it's a memory which now doubles as a folder. So it's not just a memory. Oh, I remember this. It's a folder. Thing, right? So you generate this thing. You're basically using your mind to, bring up your OS, right? Or what is it? Computer, right? Explorer, right? So you're like, because you're already using it, right? So you're like, oh, that reminds. Oh, okay, I'm using this thing, right? You're using. It's like, I had a banana and an apple, and then what was I watching the other day? I was watching Actuality Update, and you're using your imagination. It's the same system. So it's like it's still DOS, but now you're using the Greg's perfect memory machine. or whatever you want to call it. Just don't try and be me. Anyway, so like it's not really memory files. It's your OS sounds. We'll say Greg's perfect memory maintenance machine. Sounds weird. So we'll call it Greg's perfect memory maintenance. Perfect memory maintenance machine. Anyway, so I'm just gonna keep calling it perfect memory machine. Wow. Anyway, so using Greg's perfect memory machine, you can go, oh yeah, all of my memories, right, are there. They're all unsorted. You're still using something similar to it, but you're going, oh, what did I have for lunch, right? And then you're scanning your files, right, using your pre-existing OS, and you're like, remember this. So I'm basically helping people take the, mess of shit that you're sifting through days and whatnot, and helping them be organized. A lot of people are doing this and not telling anyone, but like organizing things better. But what I'm doing is creating a more efficient subdivision of files and folders to prevent accessing of abuse when you're trying to have sex. So that's discussed in this video. I just want to make sure that it's all there. Let's see. You get your folders, routing. Yeah, so subdividing your massive memory into like folders. Easy to navigate folders and subfolders. So rather than like rather than just go searching through your memory of the days. What did I have for lunch yesterday? you can just go, oh yeah, I had a banana and an apple, obviously. It's right there. I can see it visually in my file folders. I have them, I've accessed, that's like last accessed yesterday, so like, banana and an apple. Then it's like, what is it you said to me, like, at, the fair, 5 years ago, you know, hmm, which part, when we were like, and it's like, it's all there, like, I've got everything all there, like right there. So generating the file, and this seems like much longer than I intended it to be. So, but generating this is very much like generating a memory, except you just have it handy at all times. Then it doesn't even feel like a memory so much as it is a thing that you're just accessing, bringing up. I'm going to bring this up. Is it a memory? Not a memory so much as it is a thing that I know about and that I utilize every day forever, right? So it's like, folder, and like this becomes like a short, compressed into like you just have it, right? But and bringing up a folder and like going through the folder, yeah, it's been a long time since I came up with this, but so like physical, it helps you. It helps with visualization, right? You can imagine like a folder and like bring, It also helps you realize that people are already messing with your mind. Like you can see it's basically like you're turning the lights on. You see all the fucking, people, crowding around your folders. Get out of here, get out of here. It's like. Mental disorders. Oh, I'm bipolar or depressed. I have depression. I'm clinically depressed. That's basically, evil spirits. It's either funny or true. I'm joking. Anyway, so that's the beauty. You can take this as satire and humor, or as me telling it how it really is, depending on how shitty a person you are. Anyway, let's see. Alright, so let's see, what did I have? Oh yeah. So then you go into the like meals subfolder, and then you put the what's happening is like, you just have it you have a memories folder. With a million items, and like, either they're all unsorted. If you haven't sorted them out, then create more folders, like memories. It's like, woo! It makes sense if you can see my imagination. So like, creating a folder for the fifth and final time. You create a memory, then you access that memory, and that memory correlates to what the memory pertains to. So like that memory pertains to the arranging of my memories in a file system, right? Then you're actually using it already. So it's kind of like showing you how to build something from pre-existing materials so as to increase efficiency. So I created this folder, and this is a memory, but now it's also a thing, so then it becomes a thing. I'm like, okay, cool, I'm using this thing to arrange my memories. Now, if this gets you any sort of like unwanted attention, know that any other thing that exists out there that's meddling with you exists in the same medium that I exist in. So if anybody starts fucking with you, just like erase them. You just you blot them out with the giant Greg blob. It's fucking huge. It's kind of weird, but that's how it works. You know, I run the system. This is gonna how. This is very long. Anyway, so like, yeah. Anybody that's gonna mess with this messes with me, and it's kind of weird that I'm like, you know. Now, it's not like I'm like personally watching over people like this, you know, but I'm watching over my system like this. So I'm not really looking at people. I'm looking at levels. Going, these people are fucking with this person. No, no, no. But if this person is a piece of shit and is trying to actually get at me because they think that, you know, I shouldn't be doing the things I'm doing because, surprise, I am God. Anyway, but because they don't want me to be God, right? I don't want Greg to be God. I've got to stop him from doing all the things that make him God, right? They're not things that make me God. They're things I do because I'm God. But they're indications. They point to the fact that I'm God. Greg's doing all this? How? Right? It's kind of a... should I put this before or after the thing? Oh. Anyway. So you create the thing. You use the thing. Then you could say, I'm going to use Greg's thing as a filter, you know, as a scanning filter. And like, I'm gonna put all of my memories into like folders. Usually things like meals you don't even give a fuck about. You could just toss that into like daily, you know, daily activities. Music that you like, you know, do, you know, this, that, the other thing. Yeah, so the video the video you're about to watch entails just creating a separate folder for abuse, sexual abuse. You know, rather a separate folder for abuse, so that your sex and, you know, physical touchings that aren't abusive are untainted by what abuse is. I feel like I've ruined the next video. It's the same video, the same amount of views. I'm not going to edit this down, as you all know. And if you didn't, now you know. So, yeah. That was 20 minutes to 30 minutes. Hold on. And I could totally... I'm just going to stretch it out. That was only 18 minutes. It's an 18-minute intro. You guys... You see, I knew the camera was recording. This isn't a real, like, nose, you know, investigation. It's merely a distraction, you know. I'm doing this. Psych. I didn't even need to do that. But I did. I mean, not because there was some sort of obstruction or, you know, object in my nose. But, yeah, that's the whole point. Anyway, moving on. Okay, today's Are you guys with me? Are you? It's like sometimes, some sometimes it's like being on. It's like and then like also being off is also. Anyway, uh, this one's been kicking around for a few years, but anyway, brains, minds, our minds, mind, brain. All right, this will be an interest. This is a. Can you see if everything I was saying was being like printed out on a computer screen, it would be like and then there'd be all of these different. You know what I hate, guys? And when I say guys, I mean like theoretical people. Um, I don't have like some sort of like mega fan base that's alive. Okay. It's the hilarious. One of my favorite things to do is to is to slip up and how many different directions can I come at you in? Yeah, or from. Anyway. Oh man. Anyway, I'm anyway. That's kind of an ongoing inside non-joke. Okay, I'll get to all of that in a moment. The first thing I want to talk about. Okay, no. I'm going to get to that right now. Now, I turned my computer on by accident. Oh well. I'll see. I haven't even checked the volume. Hello. Well, I haven't adjusted the volume since I last recorded a video, so the setting should still be fine. I just. Some of you may not know this, but there's a little thing on the side of the camera that I can flip towards me. Because you were born in 1999. That's still. Boy, you were born in 2009. No, I'm having a blast actually myself. Anyway, it used to be safe for me to say that somebody born in like 1995 or 1999, was like a child, who could. Oh man, I I don't hate it myself. I'm talking to myself, by the way. And not when I'm talking to you, viewers. Anyway, okay, the lighting is gonna be off because I haven't lit this to include my computer monitor, so it's gonna like be too bright. But I'm just going to put my computer to sleep so that I don't have. Oh, anyway. Anyway, what was I gonna say? Well, what was I going to say? Okay, it's going off. It'll be not off, but asleep. It'll be asleep in just what the fuck? I need a new mouse. But you're not concerned about that. You have too many things to do today. Hmm? Anyway. I have to watch the tone of my voice or the quality of the pitch, the yaw. Anyway. This actually works. There are people counting I can tell because... Anyway. Alright, we'll get to... disclaimer. Disclaimer. This video contains controversial... Are they controversial? Disclaimer. Everything that you can learn on the internet is wrong. No, that's not true. Anyway, if you found your way to this video, then fuck everything else. You know? Haha, pills don't work, and modern psychology, it's not modern at all. Hold on. That's me being on. Now, I'm not really all that stressed out. Now, like, sometimes I love being on because it's such a ridiculous spectacle. Anyway. Anyway. So, okay, today, which brings me... Anyway, so today's lesson, it's not even a lesson. This is a huge thing. I've built up to, all right, memory, abuse, right? That's far too small. That's horrible. I never used a wedge. Alright, we'll do this. Alright. Memory management. And this is part of the 4-part series, part of an ongoing series on terminal mastery. I'm not trying to figure out how to spell terminal, as I write things like terminal so often that I can't not know how to spell it. But terminal, memory management, terminal management as well. I'm blocking a sneeze, by the way. Menage. I've noticed that sometimes I misspell things and just leave them up there, and I'm like, what the fuck? How can I not correct that misspelled word? And then I realize I'm like, fuck it, I don't even care. I'm like I'm too like engrossed in my own, mind, Hold on. I haven't come up with a word yet because I'm visualizing something. Mind extravaganza, carnival, mind circus. There you go. Anyway, don't think that you know me. That's like anyway. All right, memory management, terminal management. All right, now contrary to popular belief, let's say that this is going to be a very oddly shaped head. It's horribly. I got to do this. Okay, that's a huge noggin. Let's make it less gigantic. Alright. That's about right. Okay, so contrary to popular belief, our brains are not, our brains are not the entire capacity of, like, our memory is not some sort of, like, thing, that goes from, like, 0 to 100%. And then once our memories are full, brain lock freeze. Yeah, I got it. Anyway, but like, brain lock freeze. You'll notice I'm not working from a script or anything. I don't have any notes or anything. It's all in my memory. All right. So this is a fallacy, wherever it is. I don't lend any fucking credence to like modern science. Oh, you see this part of the brain that's stimulated? He's thinking about something that really interests him, and it's stimulating the blah blah cortex of the zomzar zimzar. So it's like the better way to think about it is that the brain is really an antenna that connects us to outer space. Right now, it sounds like new age. I'm crazy, but if you think about things long enough, it seems so not crazy because it isn't. It's the actuality. Oh, such claims. Oh, do you have any proof? This is the proof. Knowledge is the proof. The working knowledge. Knowledge that works. Anyway, so like oh, this part of the brain, that part of the brain, this that. Now I know like this is just like a surface glancing, so to speak. Like the bullet glanced off his skull. It's a surface glancing of how it all. I just don't want people to think that like I'm managing my memory banks. What happens when I run out of memory? You're never gonna run out of memory. All right. Another part. This is also a part of the perfect memory machine. Ongoing series of videos in which you create your perfect memory machine. Remember this, remember that, visualize this. No problems. Never waning or diminishing. Always building and building yourself into a super person. All right? So perfect memory machine, terminal management, memory management. Now, what the whole like compartmentalized brain excuse me here model is useful in doing. I don't want to fragment my sentences too much, but what? So they're trying to say that like memory is here, but these are the same people that say like our dreams are made from chemicals, swishing about in our mind. Oh, endorphins, or whatever. I think it's a wow. Anyway, I think it's a that's there's so many things that are happening right now. But anyway, that's a thing. Memory. Oh. I'm trying. This is me trying to maintain the tangent while like covering all of these other bases. All right, but anyway. Oh yeah, dreams, right? So dreams, and I call them dream world excursions because I don't consider them to be, one-shot brain, twitchings. But they say that dreams happen. This is a clue. Like dreams are a clue to the solution or to the problem of our brain capacity. Now, a lot of people say that most people are only using 15% of their brains. That's garbage. You're always using 100% of your brain. It's just that what does 100% of your brain comprise? So, you're using 100% of your brain, but according to what people assume is possible, they figure that everyone's only using 15% because they figure the other 85% is used to levitate shit. But anyway, so once you understand that dreams are not just some shit that your brain farts out, because there's like an environment and people and lighting and like a cohesive physical, you know, thing that you can touch. You know, anyone who's had like dreams or dream world excursions where they've touched things or talked to people or done stuff with people know that it's not just, you know, our memories like swishing about and like, you know, creating things that seem like places. So you kind of understand that there's this infinite expanse that our minds are connected to. So it's like, you know, easiest thing to grab onto is the stars. So it's like, we're connected to stars, you know, radio. I don't want to get into like the physical logistics or science of it. Not science, but like the physical definitions. Like, oh, radiation is actually like we're constantly always bathed in radiation. From the stars, you know, that's like a low level radiation, and then the sun, a high level. Because then people will think that, you know, when the sun is out, like, oh, my connection to outer space is, you know, we're always connected to the infinite expanse of space. And I do this because it isn't a loop, you know, it's just, you know, it goes, it's like, whoa, oh, infinite, and, you know, you go forward forever. We don't loop around to the beginning and like, oh, eternal infinite loops back into the center. No, it's infinite, linear, forward forever. And you know, I'll cover, you know, linear backwards forever. It's really just me, you know, going, way. There's nothing back there, you know, beyond the creation of Earth, creation of Earth. It seems like it was created somehow. Like I like to think that the sun just like, you know, pooped it out. You know, it's just like a little miniature like, you know, thing. You know, sun, magic, Earth, magic. Anyway, so without getting too far into it, you know, I don't use the K because that implies like Aleister Crowley, you know, uh, like flawed, incomplete, buggy system of magic. And so I just use like the old school, for me, old school spelling of magic, um, you know, magic over science. So, but with still with some science in there, you know, like um, whatever, you know, made this marker, I would call like science. You know, mix the ink and the whatever. You know, this is a product of science. However, science is a product of magic. So anyway, so the basic logistics are, you know, your head is a Wi-Fi. All right. Anyway, Wi-Fi head. All right. And you're kind of like given like your general idea of what your mind brain computer would be in outer space, right? So space equals magic guts, all right? So space is the magic guts that powers everything down here. It goes forever in all directions away from Earth. Ergo, our memories, you know. Anyway, ergo. Anyway, ergo, our memories have a capacity to. We just build infinite memories, and we have infinite power to catalog and access and you know, utilize those memories for whatever we want to, visualizing, uh, just like writing music. Anyway, so we have space is the magic guts, brain is the Wi-Fi. So like we'll say like, you know, you are the user, right? And then I'm not going to get into the logistics of like well, I guess we can do this. Space equals hard drive. And then like your memory would be like the memory of the so processor. What would the processor? Okay, processor equals your experience. Okay. You don't know if you don't know what to do with your brain. You know, you have a small processor. It's like, you know, or with your mind, with your allotment. We'll say mind because that doesn't really imply a physical thing. So your mind is your processor. Space is hard. I guess this would just, yeah. So like hard drive, space, processor, experience, and then like memory is would be like I need to use the memory to allocate the whatever. I guess this would be like skill, like ability to access your memories, right? So like you know, so your memories, I know you're following me, equals on the hard drive. Alright, so your memories are on your hard drive. Your memory, that is computer memory, is your skill, your ability to, you know, how quick you are. Processor is your experience. So it's like, or maybe, I guess your memory would be your experience, and your processor would be a combination of like experience and skill and desire, you know, interesting stuff. And then what about the heat sink? All right, there's no heat sink. But like, you know, what about the power supply, graphics card? The graphics card is actually our it's the same thing. Processor. All right, so like graphics card, sound card, you know, Wi-Fi card, LAN. You know, it's really just like processor, you know, and then, you know, let's do this hard drive, and the processor is the like, you know, the entire U. So like memory, processor, you know, whatever you want to think of. We'll say like your heat sink is like you know, food, you know, so like juice. I drink a lot of juice, 100% juice. That would be like my heat sink, and also that would also be the power supply. Yeah. And then like is there anything else? Graphics card. That's kind of like knowledge, you know. So the GPU is like my experience with art, taking art classes. That sounded horrible, but like studying art, learning how to draw, learning how to render things. That knowledge is hardwired, you know. The memory, it's like it transcends like technically it's on the hard. Like one thing you don't want to ruin your mind with is the fact that all of this stuff is like separate. All right, so it really is just this, and you know, you. All right. So like, don't think that like, oh, my hard drive is damaged. Now I don't have any memories. That's garbage. There's so much misdirection out there. It's 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 some would call it the game, you know. But anyway, This is all about you and managing your memory with your terminals so as to create a perfect memory machine. Now, now that we have all of this, it's really you, and this is just an analogy. So your memories are out there in outer space, all just like banging about the cosmos, all unsorted, and like you trying to remember something is like trying to track down some spaceship that's just like hurtling across the universe, directionless. You're not even managing it. So what you want to do is build a virtual recreation of it's basically your mind and then your memories. And like your mind is, you don't need to compartmentalize your mind into like, oh, I've got like 8 gigs of memory. Like I got, and I've also got, excuse me. Anyway, but like I've got 48 gigabytes of memory. Yeah, cranking. Plus, I've got the latest like EVGA. it's things, laws, and whatever. But anyway, I've got the latest EVGA graphics card. Oh, plus, I got a hard drive that my OS is running off of. Anyway, no compartmentalizing. You don't want to have your brain or your mind be something that you feel can be like separated. You're just the thing. It's you, and then managing your memory is like managing a hard drive. So, with all that said, we will continue. All right, so your memories. All right. You got like childhood. Music, videos, or video, and you have like sex, right? But then some people have like this, the abuse folder, right? Now, sexual dysfunction or sexual let's say there's a person who was abused sexually by their father, a girl. Let's say there's a girl who was sexually abused by her father, right? Now, that leads into like a whole mess of, shit or can of worms. But what that does on the surface or like initially is that causes a problem where she in her adult life, let's say the abuse happened at around like 6 or 7 or 8, right? So like between like 6 and 9 years old, there's like maybe even further, who knows? But like that's very confusing. It's very confusing because a lot of girls want to please their fathers the way that mommy pleases her. So like we're gonna say that like there are 2 separate folders. Sex isn't just like penetration. It's the willing act of sex with somebody you want to have sex with. Whereas abuse, even though it involves the same areas mechanisms, mechanics, is not sex. That's really like, that's really the crux of this whole presentation. But I'm going to go into it even more because people are curious and they want to know. Basically, in a nutshell, uh, sexual dysfunction, or like a disorder where, a girl will freeze up if she's like fucking some guy, and like, he says something and it triggers a memory and it accesses the abuse, but for some reason, you know, the abuse is in the sex folder. Right? So it's like, she's like, oh, I'm having sex with this guy, and oh man, this reminds me of when I was having sex with my dad. And it's like, you weren't having sex with your dad. That was your dad doing something that would otherwise be considered sex, but it's actually abuse. It belongs in the anyway. It belongs in the abuse folder. You separate those two folders, and you can have sex with a guy and be like, woo, I'm having sex with this guy, and it's sex, and it's fucking, and it's great. And then, like, your mind doesn't have to, like, encounter the abuse. Oh, I got the abuse in the same folder as sex. No. Alright, so that's the initial, glancing of this whole thing. I'll get back to this in a moment. I was going to discuss something. Right, so the thing of, like, sexual abuse, and which leads into Project Monarch, which you can find stuff on the internet, but, like, yeah, that's kind of like the next phase. Project Monarch involves, like, drug usage, involves, like, next level people who make it, who find out that marijuana isn't something that just makes you stupid, and it's like the next tier of experiences that one uncovers after they get stoned. So we have sex and abuse and young girls, right? So I'm going to say some girls, right? Some girls are in love with their dads, and they want to maybe replace the mommy and become the new mommy. And they don't think that there's anything wrong with doing intimate sexual activities with their fathers, because they have secretly wanted to do that for a long time, or they've thought about it. They're not going to say that, like in a CNN national survey. How many people are going to come out and say, like, when I was like 7, I wanted to give my dad a blowjob? I'm going to say 0. That's something that falls under the category of secret kid stuff. It's like let's say Angelina Jolie's kids grow up, and the boys are hetero. Well, they're going to be looking at old pictures of mom and going, what is wrong? Why does she tempt me so? Like, oh my God, like, your mom is so hot. I want to fuck her, Yeah, me too. Ew, Oh, no, I'm adopted. Oh, okay. I'm not the adopted one, Anyway, so, like, oh man. Anyway, so, like, secret kid stuff, little girls who want to screw daddy, right? there's nothing wrong with it. As far like, whoa, let's not use that as a soundbite. Anyway, but like, there's nothing wrong with it from the girl's perspective because that's what they want to do, and not all of the some girls. So let's say that like some girls are like, oh, I want to do that, and then they do it, and it's like it's a secret. Hey, secret kid stuff. That shit happens all the time, you know. Oh, hey, you guys play nice. I'm gonna go run to the store. All right. You want to see my, show me yours, and I'll show you mine. Okay, you know. Ooh, huh? Nice, right? Okay. Here's mine. You know. Hmm. All right, that's nice. Now that we've done that, do you want to like, play sex? Well, how do you play that? You know. Ah, that's not everybody has that experience, but like, it seems like everybody does on a level, and then it seems like no one does. Oh, I don't know what you're talking about. You know, I never did anything like that. You know, oh, really. Anyway, but so let's say like you have a young girl and her dad is Eric Stoltz. All right, she's probably gonna want to see her dad's. She's probably gonna. Anyway, oh no, there's like I need to open a worm store because there's so many cans of worms that I have here, but they're all open, so I'd probably get like closed down by the FDA. Anyway, so like let's say like a little girl who's white and likes white guys, huh? Has a dad who looks just like Eric Stoltz or is Eric Stoltz, right? And she's like 8 or 9 years old, and she's like, I love Johnny Depp so much, yay, oh Johnny, right? She has braces and headgear, Johnny, right? So like she's into Johnny Depp, but then like all of a sudden here comes her dad. Oh, Dad, Dad, he's so hot. Like my dad's so hot, like physically, it's like it seems like the stereotypical thing is like, parents are just fat and ugly. Maybe not ugly, but like fat and repulsive, right? Like, I don't want to get into it too much. I'm doing a webcomic. I don't want to like jump the gun, because it's all going to be in the webcomic. But anyway, I didn't have that problem with, mom being Angelina Jolie or anything, so I don't have that problem. I didn't have that problem. Yes, right? But hell, if my mom were like, I don't know, like some like super hot. That was all. That I'm not really. Anyway, but like Spanking the Monkey. There's a there's a movie called Spanking the Monkey. Uh, the director of American Hustle, his name escapes me. Um, anyway. So anyway. So anyway, like Spanking the Monkey, it's all about a guy whose mom looks like somebody who he'd fuck, and yeah, he has problems. He has problems with that. His mom's kind of hot. He has to take care of her. She like breaks her leg. He has to like help her in the shower. I don't know. That seems awfully unrealistic. Anyway, um, so the deal is that like the daddies will usually come into the bed and like play like secret kid stuff with the girls, and like they're not supposed to tell, don't tell mommy. And in some cases probably mommy knows because they're both evil fuckers, right? And in the girl's mind it's okay. So it's like, oh yeah, but it's a secret. She's not supposed to tell the girls at school because she's special, right? Other girls aren't able to do that because the daddies don't like them as much, right? She's just going to make all the other girls jealous. But then what happens is, around 13, 12 or 13 or so, the girls realize that it's not normal. I don't want to say not normal. It's not accepted by society, right? And this in no way condones, people messing around with their kids. I just want to get the wording proper, right? So, like, anyway, no, well, this is a, anyway, that was me, like, thinking about the slippery slope, It's a slippery slope I'm treading on here. But I got it, So, what happens is, the girls realize that it's not accepted, it's frowned upon, and so they bury they bury the abuse in the wrong folder. Sex, blowjob, doggy style. These are all things in my sex folder. Also, sex with her dad. But, it's like, it's down here, and then it's like, this is when I, like, just powered through it, had sex with, like, this guy, kissed this girl, gave this guy a blowjob, this was like, reading this book, masturbation, knowledge on how to, like, 69, right? So, woohoo, I've got all this. So then it's like, when they're having sex and they're streaming, into this folder, this shit is down here going, woo, what am I? Why am I in here, right? And they're just like, well, because you're sex, but sex that I'm embarrassed about, or I never want to think about anymore. I don't want to think about my dad on top of me when you're on top of me. But there he is. Woo, legs close, everything freezes, we're done. I can't do this right now. I'm like, I'm thinking about my dad, right? Well, that's great, right? I don't, oh man, it really sounds like I'm some guy that's like, is your girl, like, freezing up when you're having sex? It's probably because she has some sort of sexual dysfunction. We'll clear that right up so we can get back to work. Oh yeah, back in the saddle. That's, it's not quite like that. It's more like I'm talking to the girls, and I'm saying, you get back in the saddle so that I can get back in. No, but you know what I'm saying. Get back in the saddle, ladies, because it's good. No sexual dysfunction here. I love it. I haven't had sex in so long. Anyway. But that's my problem. Anyway, so yeah, basically, you move the abuse into a new folder, right? Right? Even though it's like your body is basically an input device. It's bad. That's a weird word, but it's basically like an input device. You're inputting sensations with your like fingers, and your eyes are taking in visual information, and so like so sex is a your sexual parts are just input devices that are highly sensitive and erogenous. They're erogenous. That sounds weird, but they're really just like high density sensation points. but fingers are, suck on a finger, kiss a neck, that's not a, you know, it's not a sex part, but it's very erotic. So, you know, like you really need to de-emphasize the act of manipulation of your input device with like the intention. So like, it's not like like part of it is that like it feels good. So like for the number of years that these girls are being abused, it feels good. If the guys are like conditioning their children, effectively, the like it sounds horrible, but that's part of the method that these people utilize. Um, so because it feels good, it's not outright like obvious. It's not blatant abuse. It's like psychological abuse. So the daddy is like being a capable lover, a skilled, you know, lover to the girl, and she loves it. Wow, oh sex, oh it feels so good. And it isn't until later that she realizes that like, ew gross. I was like all ready, for daddy to come and like do stuff to me, and like I don't want to be a freak, and so I have to bury that, right? So they bury it without like analyzing it properly, and then it just sits in this sex folder, fucking everything up until they create the new folder for abuse, and the folder contains pretty much what I just explained, psychology. It's like it's a psychological abuse. It's not like you know the guys are like rough and like manhandling the children. It's that they are treating them. They're being ideal lovers and being psychologically manipulative, and so it's like basically just throw that in the trash, like into the abuse file. Like you don't want to throw memories away. You can't really throw them away. You don't want to even try, but you can like put them in folders that aren't going to be used, you know. You can't. Because guess what? Somebody else out there will just grab it and then be like, I've got your memory. I remember this. And then you'll be like, no, why did I delete that file? So you want to have all of your shit. So you have all of your shit and it's all organized. A little bit more on the explaining. All right, so it's like I have hands, and if a dog bites me, that's a dog attack, right? The dog bit me, ouch, right? But for some reason, if a girl is like, holding my hand and like brings it to her mouth and starts to like kiss it or whatever, I'm not going to be like, yikes, this reminds me of like when I got bit by that dog in like 7th grade. It's just not there. So, just it's because it's obvious that the dog biting me is an attack. Whereas for a little girl who enjoyed sex with her dad for years, that was not an obvious attack. So it's like in the pleasure part of the sex and what I enjoy, and then it's like, oh, you did enjoy sex with your dad. There are all these dates here when you were like writing in your diary, like, oh, coming feels so good or whatever, like I could feel in the whatever, and it's like, oh, you're trying not to have those experiences readily available for yourself to like, la la la, listen to this music, it reminds me of me and dad, and like, oh, those are some good times. That's like thrown out the window. But usually in the deep dark part of the sex file. So now we have the new folder, the abuse folder, and you understand that like your body is like my hand, and the dog biting me is like the psychological abuse of pleasure being given uh, without thought given to like the damage it will cause in the future. So once the little girl goes out into the world and reads magazines and talks to other girls, she understands that that's like taboo, or like she's been sexually abused, and then like there's no proof or whatever, and like it's like, oh, how do I prove it, and then it's like, oh, what a nightmare. But now managed properly, you can really just like cut that shit into fucking nothing virtually. And that's not virtually, oh, it's still gonna be a problem. I mean, no problem. You know, like for the longest time, I thought that, some childhood fallacy. And then I learned that that was fake and people were lying to me. And you just drop it. It's still in your memory, but it doesn't factor into your day-to-day activities or how you think about the universe, or how efficiently you can process the goings-ons of your life. So, let's see. Dog bites the hand. Girl kisses the hand. I don't think about the dog. So it's like, even though your body was being like manipulated in a pleasing manner, it was a psychological attack. And so it's pretty complex. It's a very complex attack, which involves like, it's basically like you're being conned, you're being manipulated, you're being psychologically manipulated and distorted and abused. Now, like part of that, that process goes right into the logistics of Project Monarch. Project Monarch is basically conditioning a girl to keep all of that abuse in her sex file, so as to like create some sort of phobia or thing that she must never think about it, because she's just constantly running away from the mismanaged folder. If it's in the abuse folder, it's like, oh, you and your dad, like, that was abuse. You can just easily just go, that was abuse. That wasn't sex. It simulated sex. But once you understand that sex is the consensual, full spectrum knowledge. No. It's like, hey, the question just arose out there some. Anyway, what if the girl still likes having sex with her dad? And what if she never came to the realization that sex with her father is wrong? Then when she's having sex with someone new and she thinks about her father, it's going to get her off more. Alright, there's the answer there. But this is all about girl. This simple answer. Anyway, but this is all about girls who in hindsight do not want to think about their fathers as a former sexual partner. Then what they were being abused, being led down a path that makes them feel like it's what everyone does, in her chosen societal model. And then she talks to her friends, and they're like, "We're not fucking our dads. What are you talking about?" And then she's like, "Ah, I'm some freak. I've been fucking my daddy." I'm like, ha 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 ha. Girls would tease her. Oh, girls would tease me if they knew. I can't openly, So it's really all about whether the girl accepts that. It's like, grown psychoanalysts and whatever people are going to say that it's wrong no matter what. But those of us who remember, you know, we were adults when we were kids. So, uh, girls who, do consider it to be abuse and don't think about it like, wow, when I was 8, me and my dad were doing it and stuff. And he was like, woo, when I was like 12, we were like fucking like full on, like lights on in front of a mirror. Yeah. Woo. He was like, he took my cherry, right? I've lived a life where like something like that would not be completely shocking to me. Oh yeah, I would just, yeah, you know. So the thing is that like it's not always that, So when it's not some sort of thing where the girl is like, yeehaw, it's what I always wanted, now I just have to lie about it, right? And it's like, well, I thought that I was like training for the Olympics or something, and now I realize that this guy is some piece of shit, just like taking advantage of me, and he's kind of ruined me psychologically. All right, all right. In that case, then that goes into the abuse, psychological abuse. Now you've got two separate folders. Now that your sex folder is all about consensual full spectrum knowledge. Interfacing, right? I'm not going to specify the gender, right? With whoever, right? So like, yeah, this is Maryland, all right? Anyway, so like consensual full spectrum knowledge interfacing, So it's different. It's the same action, but it's psychologically different. Just as the dog biting my hand is the same action as a girl biting my hand, or I guess kissing is different. But let's say like it's psychological, right? So like if like let's say if a guy comes up to me and like caresses my hand while I'm not looking, and I turn around and I'm like, hey, what are you doing? And he's like, oh, I thought you were gay, right? And it's like, why did you think that? Because you want me to be? Because I'm so... Anyway, it's different. It's the same action as like a girl caressing my hand, holding my hand, and it's like, oh, hey, nice, right? So they don't both go into the sex folder. One goes into abuse, one goes into sex. Way to go. All right, Project Monarch. That's we'll cover that some other video. It's like needless to say, I don't say needless to say, but like Project Monarch, it's really like a history lesson, because I've already kicked the shit out of it, because it involves like stuff from the other side, so to speak, spirits, and that stuff that we all know is there but pretend isn't. Except for me, I'm the exception. I can just speak about it frankly and often, and I can discuss whatever the fuck I want. So yeah, that's the base. I feel like that's it. So like you have these. You have unlimited capacity for sex. But like no. So like music video, Charlie, there's no limit to what you can catalog in your hard drive. Unlimited hard drive space. Keep on cranking. Don't worry about catching up with me or anything. You're never gonna do it. Anyway, so we got we got this covered. Yeah. All right. So they separate folders for abuse and sex, and then like Project Monarch. In a nutshell, Project Monarch was all about like spirits getting the girls to try and hide, like basically the spirit world, like they get stoned, right? once they get stoned, they try to like flood the girls' minds with thoughts, with memories of the abuse in conjunction with the sex. So the abuse is in the sex folder, and then the spirits are like, amplifying all of it. So you get like sex plus abuse in one folder stream, right? And so like since the girls can't separate those two things, they try to shut down, and they basically try to turn their minds off, without blowing their brains out. And basically what happens is they kind of go to sleep, very much like hypnosis. When a girl, like the theory is when somebody hypnotizes someone else, they are gone, and then all that's left is the spirit world pretending that there are these people in a trance. So trance equals puppeted. 1T or 2? Whatever. Anyway, 2 looks better. Puppeted by the spirits. Alright? So it's like the fucking like a cluck like a chicken. Stand on one leg and cluck like a chicken. Bark, 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 bark. Now wake up, and they're like, why is everyone laughing? Right? Now that indicates a complete break in memory. They are gone. Some other person is out here doing this. Now the deal about Project Monarch is that instead of standing on one foot clucking like a chicken, they're like fucking. So that's the theory behind Project Monarch, is that the people who take over when you're like, under, turn you into some sort of like, tricked out like replicant puppet that, somebody calls you up on the phone and it's like Manchurian Candidate or whatever, like La Femme Nikita, and they say Josephine, right? And that's the trigger word, whatever the trigger word is, bananas, some shit that, not everyone is going to say, like whatever, right? And then the girls kind of like zone out and go fall into that trance, and then like they call again and it's this person, yeah, I'm ready, send them over, I'll do whatever. Now that's one theory. Another theory is that the spirit world gets these people to have sex with who they want them to have sex with, merely by attacking their minds. And this like a bonus. Anyway, it's like, I know this is all about the memory thing, but I can't leave Project Monarch hanging there for all the people who aren't going to watch all my fucking videos, right? So like, they before I took over the system, a lofty claim. No, but anyway, before I took over the system, people would get high, and then the spirits would come in and like reappropriate the weed, or the drugs, whatever drugs the people are on, into like controlling people, right? So like, aha, you're stoned and you feel great. Now you're going to like do what we tell you. And so the thing is that all of the Satanists who are actively working with the spirit world, they're working with the spirit world and are trying to get those girls. Basically, it's really this. In the past, it used to be like weed would lead to like, people get stoned and they enjoy like, a number of years. Weed is great, let's say like 4 years, right? And then like the spirits would come in and try to get them to have sex with, a bunch of like fraternity brothers, or like Masons, or whatever evil organization, Scientologists. I don't even want, whatever. Evil people, magic, right? This is magic with a K. No thanks. All right, that's a magic with a K involves working with the flip flop flip-flopped evil people, right? So the evil people pretending to be good, oh, please protect me, you know, Jehovah or whatever. Oh, sure. And then they flip over, and guess what? Jehovah is a character that was created by people. People who are evil and want to see you have sex with their ancestors or cohorts who, follow their, methodology. Basically, ugly people. All right? So it's really all about ugly versus pretty. All right? Or as I like to call it, spectacular versus unspectacular, right? When you're unspectacular, hold on, yeah, all right? Unspectacular people have to use magic in order to get laid, you know? The something in Latin, Uyus, uyus, uyus. Anyway, it's don't think that I'm making fun of the situation. Like Project Monarch, it's hilarious, but the people, the unspectacular people, are so pathetic that it's hilarious to me. They're like, let me try to bamboozle you. Oh man, but let me try and wow you and woo. Oh, I'm trying to get you to fall into a trance or something, so I can manipulate you into having sex with me because I have more knowledge. I know how to control the force and anyway. So that's Project Monarch in a nutshell. It's if you read up on it, there's I wouldn't say that any other reading other than this video is the way to go, but it's an interesting introduction and an and an incomplete glancing on the subject. There's a DVD, a double DVD set that came out that called Disinformation. So these guys, there's a Disinformation book series. I saw this at Tower Records back when Tower Records existed. I saw this Disinformation, the complete series. 2 discs, 6 hours. The things you'll never see on television: Satanism, mind-controlled sex slaves, So I got this 9 years ago, 10 years ago, 9 years ago, and they cover Project Monarch without getting into the detail that I go into, with the drugs. I mean, some detail, but so it's basically spectacular versus unspectacular. Guess which side I'm on. It's if you're spending any more than, if you're even trying to answer that question, you're unspectacular. So basically, in the war, the news that isn't out there, because this is not stuff that any news organization would ever dare publish for fear, because they're all unspectacular losers who need to have the power of publishing control on their side in order to get laid. Anyway, but Project Monarch, ugly versus pretty. Ugly, unspectacular versus spectacular, right? Or total losers who are so fucking stupid that they go down an even stupider path to try and get laid. Don't worry about them. I've got them under control. Anyway. But what of, I'm doing a webcomic, I can't make any money off of this. I'm not going to monetize, if that's even a real word, monetize my channel. I don't want people to have to sit through 30 seconds of fucking Geico ads I have State Farm. Anyway, Geico ads for like, to see my videos. So, it's an artistic choice. I'm doing a webcomic, which I'm going to print and sell for money. This I do for free. Anyway, all right, file memories, memory folders, perfect memory machine, cranking away, secret kid stuff, don't forget, it's all there. It's part of who we are. Sex, consensual, full spectrum knowledge interfacing. You know what's out there. You know that you like boys or girls. Whether you're a boy or a girl, and you're not going to have sex with like parental figures or like authority figures. What a wonderful world. No, I don't know, but you know what I'm saying. What murky waters people wade in. All right, so that's it for today's video. How to manage your memory system. Just reviewing. And Project Monarch. Those are okay. Oh, but Greg, I'm concerned about what you said about Project Monarch. It doesn't exist anymore. Like part of what my webcomic is about is how I've defeated the spirit organizations that caused that, right? So like, these things are like ha ha ha, and I'm like, no. It's kind of like, hey, it's this. If you believe, it's not even if you believe. If you know about like things, well, the bottom line is this: I run the universe. I'm God. Good night, folks.